Now, who were the top artists in 2000, right? So you got to go back into 1999. So 1999, you can argue and say DMX. Remember, DMX dropped 2 albums in 1 year, both number one. Jay-Z was also considered, the top artist at the game. He dropped, remember, Sean Carter Volume 3, and then going into 2000, the Dynasty album. Also, you can't forget Eminem. Eminem is a quintessential 2000s artist still. I mean, the numbers today in streaming, right? So Slim Shady LP, 1998, and the Marshall Mathers LP into 2000. He sold 2 million units the first week, which at the time was the record. Other albums to consider at the time: Missy Elliott, The Real World, 1999. Destiny's Child, The Writings on the Wall, also in 1999. Going back to Aaliyah, Romeo Must Die soundtrack, which she was in a movie with DMX, and her Aaliyah album in 2001. So Aaliyah was at the top of the game. Let's also talk about the rising stars of the 2000, right? Specifically 2000 a year. Nelly, Country Grammar, Ludacris, back for the first time, signs with Def Jam, right? What's Your Fantasy, Southern Hospitality, crazy singles, right? Also Cash Money, Millionaires as a label. You got the Hot Boys, coming into the 2000s, and an artist named Lil Wayne, who everyone started to notice was, hey, I think this is going to be the next artist that you got to keep your eye on, right? The prolific duo Method Man and Redman with the Blackout album also. Speaking of duos, Outkast dropped Stankonia in 2000, October of 2000s. Bombs Over Baghdad, Miss Jackson, So Fresh, So Clean. Outkast at the time still projecting upwards, in which they will peak to be one of hip hop's greatest group of all time. Right? Nas is continuing to climb. Drops Stillmatic in 2001. Dr. Dre drops The Chronic 2001 in 1999. Remember, and so you got Still DRE, the next episode that goes over into 2000. Speaking of West Coast, Snoop Dogg drops The Last Meal in 2000. This was the last album he had under contract with No Limit Record. Remember, he signs with No Limit after Death Row. We can also discuss Common in there as well. Mos Def and Talib Kweli. Big Pun as well. He passes away in 2000, but he is an honorable mention just because of the impact that he had in such a short time, from the late 90s into 2000. I'd love to talk more about, each artist, and just put a video about, what was happening during this time for some of us that forget. I mean, this is like 26 years ago when music was just changing. It was evolving to something different, putting together the final touches of these mixes here. And so we'll talk more later on.